Welcome to ESO News. This is some informative news for you throughout your daily drive, whether it be rush hour traffic or whether you're watching at your home or at your apartment or maybe at a restaurant or some sort of business building. This is a really good way to learn more about Elder Scrolls and what's going on inside of the Elder Scrolls universe. Right now, I'm gonna discuss the topic of payments charges that are going on throughout the entire Elder Scrolls universe. It's kind of maddening and thinking about like what has to be done. Well, we got to just keep on working further and further. Right now, and the system is really struggling. What's happened to me is I've gotten double charged in nearly every site, and that is kind of weird. You know, when you pay a monthly fee, you look into the system, and you're like, okay, that's paid, that's good enough. But when the charges comes in on as a double charge, it's kind of an alert to everyone when they understand this. I'm not for sure exactly what's going on with the system, but hopefully this is going to get corrected. The correct funds can get refunded in the correct places. The assumption is that there have been two accountants. When I'm explaining the regular accountant that looks over the account, there has been a second accountant that has come in and has charged again. And so how do you know what accountant is in where? When a company, when they look in, they'll look in to a site if it's been paid, and they're like, yeah, it works, it works. Now, what I'm explaining here for you guys that are looking over here on ElderScrollsOnline.com, this is the daily login rewards page for ElderScrollsOnline.com. What I'm talking about on a deeper level is over on Twitter. There is a place where you can see the broadcast live. However, if you haven't paid, you're not supposed to be going in and watching, because there's the point of this, of what I'm talking about. If you haven't paid in a particular place, you shouldn't be looking in on the place. So what I'm talking about with getting the system growing is both in Xbox and Steam individually. Looking in later on here on what daily daily rewards you guys will be receiving in your game. What I'm going to have to explain is, even though you can go into certain places, you shouldn't go into certain places, like over in Amanos or over at Gonfalon Bay. Even though some of you might be able to go over into those areas, you shouldn't be going into those areas right now if you haven't paid for the program system, in which the DLC or the game series in Elder Scrolls. Even though you can go into a place, you shouldn't go into the place. And you might ask, why not? Because you haven't paid. And look at what's happening over, if you looking over into Twitter. You look over, you're like, hey, that's I can see that. I can learn from that. But no, you can't learn from that. Because if you haven't paid, you're not going to be able to get into the system. You won't grow. And so that's what I'm explaining. If you're looking into a place and you're like, hey, I can grow from this. But if you haven't paid, you're not really going to grow. You might be able to temporarily watch something, but there's a deeper level on if you were looking in on something and learning from something but not paying in that proper field, you're going to get yourself into some trouble. And so, what I'm explaining with the importance of you guys learning a little bit more over in elderscrollsonline.com, some of you will not want to go over into elderscrollsonline.com because that deals with multiple systems. And the kind of the reason why elderscrollsonline.com, some of the technicians don't want to deal with Steam is because Steam's a very complex system. Going over today on what's going on inside of Steam, going to go talk about the topic here in a little bit about some screen work here for us in Steam because I directly deal with Steam and it's an important thing. I'm hoping the specific person is able to watch the programming today, so she can learn how the how the button can be pressed. She's one of the best technicians in Steam, and what I have to explain is I'm going to explain how she can do that. She deals with what's called the interface in Elder Scrolls in Steam, and so what I have to explain is there might be some touchy buttons sometimes when it evolves inside of the system. When you go outside of a system, there's a lot of code that has to be inputted, and sometimes that code it doesn't always correlate with another system. When I'm talking about the relation of Steam and YouTube, and this will directly get us back over into ElderScrollsOnline.com. The guys over there in ElderScrollsOnline.com are not even going to want to touch this subject. The reason why is because most of the guys over in ElderScrollsOnline.com either deal with a PC or a Macintosh. They don't deal with Steam, and so the basically over in ElderScrollsOnline.com they leave the Steam support up to me, and so it's kind of a little different when you see in ElderScrollsOnline.com when you see the support information. ElderScrollsOnline.com is a perfect place to find support for the different game systems throughout the entire world. ElderScrollsOnline.com is one of the best, if not the best. And so, what I'm explaining, we're not perfect. We don't know it all. However, there are many people who are very knowledgeable, and that starts out with having a license. You gotta have a license for something like, and you have to be knowledgeable. When you have your license, well, you're kind of showing yourself approved, and you are showing yourself knowledgeable. So those guys over the when you if you submit a ticket over in ElderScrollsOnline.com, give those guys some time and the opportunity to correct the system because they will definitely correct the system for you guys. Over in Steam earlier, I was able to get the game playing again, which is absolutely amazing. Um, what I'm going to explain a little bit further with the daily login rewards here of this month of February, there's been some issues where I had posted the daily login rewards over on Elder Scrolls Tests. That's elderscrolls.com. And what I'm explaining is when I had posted the February daily login rewards, guess what came out? The month of January. It was like what? How did that even go in? And so when you go further into the system, you're going to be looking at that like if you do it, you're going to be like, how does it even go through? And so what I'm talking about with the specific person that I'm referring about in Steam, she's going to be a little confused, and hopefully if you are watching this, you'll understand a little bit more about what's going on because this is gonna teach you how to get that button in. She's one of the best, and this is going to be great because what I'm talking about getting a video, getting a mirror picture over into a site, it's merely impossible. What I'm talking about, over in Steam, I think this is the general consensus of what can be done. In Steam, you're allowed basically as a member only one video to present, like for what you're trying to present. If you present like off of a game, well, that's all you have, and that possibly is the only thing that you can present. And then some people, they just leave because they're like, that's not worth it. That's not worth going doing, because like some people, when you go further into the system, if you cannot get a video back in, you're like, I should have kept that video that I had in. And so the video I have over on Steam, it talks about the creation kit, and you guys can kind of understand where of what I'm dealing with in Steam, getting the getting the Elder Scrolls engine properly running again. You can kind of understand that I'm dealing with the creation kit engine inside of Elder Scrolls, inside of the different servers. And there's two main servers, whether it's the NA server or the EU server. The NA server stands for the North American server, whereas the EU server stands for the European server. It's been some really good stuff with MeetMe.com. That's a great place for us to start building a minor connection for Elder Scrolls. I've been transmitting overnight over on MeetMe.com, and that's going to build a direct connection for Tumblr. When you're looking over in ElderScrollsOnline.com, you don't see very much information over on Tumblr. So this is kind of an outside part of Elder Scrolls. We are connected. What I'm talking about with Steam, we're talking about the transmittance of from Steam over into YouTube, getting a video over into Twitter, getting the picture in there. That's gonna be a chore, and that's gonna be a blessing to actually see. I don't understand why my videos, the pictures are showing up over in Twitter, but her pictures, like the picture that she has over from Steam, why that picture is not showing up. Doesn't make sense. It might be with the link that's available in the UI. What it might be is that the half of the link wording has to just be put in. I tried that here earlier over on Twitter, and no picture showed up. So what's going to have to happen here is I'm going to explain on very simple. This is very simple, and you'll look at this and you're like, yeah, that is very simple. But no, it's not very simple. What I'm going to explain here for you guys in the video form, going in and transmitting over on YouTube, what I'm talking about is getting the thumbnail in. It's harder and more complex than you do think on getting a thumbnail in. Both YouTubes, whether it's paid or non-paid, we're having problems inside of the system to where both of the paid sides and the non-paid sides are not functioning. And so I'm going to explain how for the technician that's involved in Steam of how to get that thumbnail in. I'm going to do that here in a little bit. Right now here, hopefully you guys are enjoying your drive. I'll be right back. Just got back here and gonna explain how we're gonna be able to get that video in. Getting a video on the market over from Steam, this is nearly impossible. And this might take a couple of people to get in. What I'm gonna explain of how difficult this is. It's just not a matter of getting a mouse onto a keyboard. In Steam, it's a little different, and what we use in Steam is the Steam controller as the basic inputting of the keyboard. It's a lot more complex than you thought. And when you're actually pressing the button. When I'm talking about getting a thumbnail in, is it's using your thumb usually, or one of your fingers to getting the thumbnail in. It's merely impossible. I'm just explaining how important it is that you don't use what a company does not use. What I'm talking about in Steam is we use the controllers to input the information, and sometimes what we have to use outside electronics to get the message available that's on the market. And so what I'm explaining is you cannot just download a video from another person. You can't download a video of another person without their prior knowledge, or without their okay, or their permission. You can't you cannot present a video from someone else without talking to them. Um, so what I'm talking about, how hard this is, um, with the thumbnail inside of YouTube specifically. That thumbnail is almost impossible to get the picture in. And so the technician that's working in Steam, that's trying to get that wasn't able to get the picture out there, they are probably looking at this like, yeah, I've got to get that, picture in. How do I get that picture in so I can make some money? And so I'm trying to help here with like how to get that picture. And so I'm going to explain, on here, on the Steam controller. We're going to have to press the button, and it's going to have to be really quick. And it's over on the bar, over on, most likely over on the right hand side. You have to hold on to that bar and then scroll down. You think about like Elder Scrolls, yeah, we've got to scroll down on a device to get the information in. This is going to be sweet when the video picture does come in. I'm hoping that she's able to learn from what's going on in the live broadcast right now, of how we can get that video in, because that's one of the most important videos for us in Steam, to present the system of Steam. She's basically the only one that can get into the screen, and she pushes those buttons, she adds those buttons that we see in Steam. And so I'm explaining, this is just this will just be like retarded in some forms, like the like, get in there, like squeezing out a baby. Come on, baby, come on, baby, come on, come on, baby, baby's almost out. The baby's almost out. Steam baby's almost plumbing out. Okay, anyways, so that's a possible way of getting the picture into into the video, to where you guys can see on places like YouTube or Facebook. I think I had transmitted the video somewhere over in Facebook, and it did transmit. So that's a good thing that Facebook has the technology to getting that video picture out. However, in Twitter, that's a different story. And Tumblr, I'm not for sure if Tumblr would be able to actually produce that video. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to look in here, and this is good that this is live. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back over here into the ElderScrollsOnline.com screen. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to flip over onto Tumblr, and we'll see if the video actually is producible over in Tumblr. So this is a really good thing. Before I explain how this can be done to where we can get the picture in, and we all in Steam can start making some money. It's an important thing for us. If we can't get those certain things that make sense, we can't make money. And so this is why. And so I'm going to go over here into Tumblr, showing here on the screen. Okay, so you guys should see this. This is the Tumblr screen of what I'm showing. This is on where this can be posted. Here, I'm gonna go in to my email, and I think I had put the video link over in my email. And this video is very hard to find. Let's see here. I was watching the video earlier, but I took the video off of the tab screen that I was looking at. So I'm gonna have to look at this here really quick. Okay, so that's going through. That's a good thing. The video on my end of what I'm seeing is going through, but okay. So let's see here. What am I saying? Oh yeah. Okay, so here this is. Okay, so this is the video for redesigning the entire Steam UI from scratch, is what she had said. Let's see here. Where is the? There it is. There's the Tumblr, and we got that. That's good. There's so many little different screens. This is okay. So we can just put a title on any of this or whatever. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to see if the link, as you can see, what I was talking about here earlier of how we can translate this from Steam is right here. Is and just copying this right here for YouTube. This has some other code in here of the video. Well, okay, so this is a little different from what I had seen before, because it has a middle score of the so that might have something to do with that. So good. Okay, that's a really good thing. The video is actually the picture is coming out on Tumblr. It can go out on Tumblr. So this is a really really good thing. So I'm not going to actually transmit this on YouTube or YouTube Tumblr. Okay, so let's see here. What is I'm going to flip over to the Twitter. Okay, so we'll go over here into the posting mechanism of Twitter, and I'm going to paste that. This is the weird thing of how the after the JU, the after the JU there was a middle score. What I'm talking about with the middle score is right here. With that's what a middle score looks like to me at least. But the this is not. It's not showing up over on Twitter for some odd reason. Just going to sometimes like a zero or the letter O is seen. So I think that's an O. Yeah, that's just not. It's not picking up for some odd reason on Twitter. So this will help us out over on Twitter when we have the proper information, when she understands what I'm talking about in YouTube, to getting the picture to where this can be fully transmitted for us. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into YouTube. Go into one of the YouTube accounts that I have. Okay. Okay. So hopefully you guys see here in YouTube, and she specifically sees this. So this is YouTube. And so this is this YouTube account is a paid YouTube account. And what I was talking about earlier is that this getting the picture, and this is like merely impossible. It doesn't matter if this is a paid account or this is a non-paid account. For some odd reason, the thumbnail is just not going in. So what I'm going to explain here, I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to press the upload video button here in the studio. And do you guys see this? Yes, you do. Okay, so this is a good thing. So going over here, I'm just going to select a file. There we go. Okay, so does this show? Possibly doesn't show that, but going to. Where's the video? Okay, so this was the ESO global reveal. Okay, and do you guys see this? I think that does show it. Good. Okay, that does. That's a good thing. So right over here is the this could be any video. What I'm talking about for whether it's a video on baking bananas or baking a sweet roll. something like that. Now I'm talking about with on her video. There's no thumbnail, and as you can see here, this is just where you can put a title in, you can put the description, it has the file name and all of that stuff. Now right here, this is what I'm talking about, is where we get the thumbnail. Right over here on this is over on the PC side, so you can kind of see the difference in the system of the side of where she's working on over in Steam. Pretty soon, once this video is processed, this is just the old ESO global reveal that was revealed here recently. This is definitely a good thing. Now, right over here, this is not a good thing that we're not able to get the picture that we're trying to. It could be any picture. Like it's going to have to be a picture of, obviously, of Steam, and something that's involving, like, trying to explain what's going on with, like, what she's trying to present for Steam. But over here in this is what comes up over from Steam. Like if she was actually uploading the video from before, the UI video, it would show whatever picked up on her device, like inside of, now on the inside of Steam. I'm not sure what that will look like with, like, trying to get that going. Steam is a great system, and it's a system of its own. And so what I'm explaining here is we want to try to get the thumbnail in. And so if she's using just a Steam console, which most likely she is just using a Steam console to get these things produced, this is what can be done. I can either put this in for her, or hopefully she can learn from this. But we have to be able to get a picture in. Now, what's that going to involve with over on the Steam side? Steam is a very complex coded system, and getting that in there. Hopefully, this will work on the Steam consoles. This barely works over on both of the Steam consoles and the PCs, or Macintosh for that example. The purpose in here is so we can get a picture in to where we see on places like Twitter, and that's what I'm talking about over here. Right now, you're probably looking at in your studio, and you're like, dude, this is impossible. I can't even get, what the heck is a thumbnail? You're like, this is just a weird system. I don't ever want to deal with YouTube ever again. So right over here is where you want the specific technician that I'm talking about. This is where you're in now in the Steam console. I'm not sure if this is going to show up the little scroll bar to where you can scroll down to get that thumbnail in. I'm not for sure if that's gonna actually go in on the Steam console. But over on this side, over on the PC side, this is individually a Chromebook that I'm using. And so what I'm talking about with Chromebook, this is how it's done in Chromebook. So right now, for some odd reason, this is the problem that I was seeing earlier. I was going mad with like bonkers, because it is like, how do I get that picture in? And what this was explaining to me is that there's a picture that's needed to go in, so the people over on Twitter can actually see the picture. When we're transmitting the link over from YouTube over into another site from Steam, there's a lot of coding that has to go in, and sometimes what happens on the computerized devices, whether it's a PC or a Macintosh, what happens is the code changes to where, like I was talking earlier, where the middle score sometimes comes in. It's quite possibly because there was a Macintosh that was coming into the system, and what we have to do is we have to have those coding programs that will help get the picture in. You see what I'm saying? So right over here, this is impossible to get the thumbnail in right now currently. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to click out of this, and that right there it's saying the video is being saved as a draft. Now what I'm going to do here again is I'm going to click on the upload videos, and this is the important thing to do. This is going to take you. You got to get this in right away. This is otherwise this won't go in. This is how complex this is, because right as you just saw, that was impossible where we couldn't scroll down, but now we should be able to. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to put in that ESO global reveal video that was downloaded, and well, wherever it is, I didn't know where the where it is. So there we go. So that's that. There, right there. See what I'm saying? This is how hard and difficult this was. This is where you're going to want to be able to get the thumbnail in, where you can upload that picture that you're wanting to present for the company. So this is that's merely impossible. And so what I'm talking about, getting the picture in, that's worth the gold to us over in Steam, to seeing a picture and getting that of what's needed in the interface. She's the only one that I could think of that can actually get into the, like, adding the buttons in Steam. And so that's how important this is. Like, this is how quick you have to be, because look what I'm saying is the actual scroll bar might not be available now, since I let go of the button. Right in here, gonna look here again. Yep, there's no scroll bar available. That's how quick that has to be done. That is that's crazy, and really good that it can get in. Some of you will never want to deal with YouTube ever again. Serious. So with that, that was presented, and that will get us the picture in for places like in Twitter for the video and the future videos that are produced in whatever branch in Steam is trying to present for Elder Scrolls. This is going to help out tremendously. And with that, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a quick break. That was a lot to do. That's so good stuff. So hopefully you're having a good drive and you're learning a lot, and you are paying your proper channel that you're supposed to. If you're looking in right now and you didn't understand that you have to pay for something, now you understand that you have to pay for something. So I will be right back. Hopefully you're enjoying your drive today.
ultimate digital video game storefront since 2003, home to the most nostalgic video game moments of all time. There is no denial that the Steam spirit is one of the things that keeps it alive, but the UI is definitely not one. There are more discussions on Steam about its UI than its newest product, Steam Deck. It seems like they're closer to releasing Half-Life 3 than dedicating a tiny portion of their budget to updating the UI and UX once and for all. I mean, Steam kinda has a history of abandoning things, so who knows how long we have to keep up with the current 10-year-old UI.
These things, they take time.
Well, I hear you, and I've been literally studying Steam for weeks. Plus, just a tiny bit of prior experience using it. Steam is available on a website, a desktop client, not one, not two, but 3 mobile apps, a big picture mode for TVs and bigger screens, Steam Deck, and Steam VR. We mostly use the website and the desktop app on a daily basis. And here's my review and redesign of them. So forgive me, Father, for I am about to sin. The Steam desktop app or the Steam client is made up of 2 parts. The native client features like the navigation, downloads, settings and so on, and the Steam website that is kinda hosted on the Steam client to show the content for all the other pages. This is mainly why Steam has a bunch of inconsistencies recently, because the client gets updated every once in a while, but the website hasn't had much of a change. It's still kinda stuck in 2010s. So I thought, well, let's just mix these two so they can hide the features that are desktop specific on the browser. Have you noticed that there are like a billion colors in Steam? Okay, that's an exaggeration. I digged in their code and they only have like 41 color styles. So which blue here is the Steam blue? This? Or maybe these? I understand this is a redesign, not a rebrand. So after playing around with my magic tool, I simplified this palette to have 2 colors for text, 5 for background, 2 Steam blues, and 3 accents. I don't really have a problem with the Steam font. It's their font. It's readable and not too edgy. So Motiva Sans, you're good. And for the font size, I used exactly the same styles as they listed. Steam's current UI feels a lot like Frankenstein. Some pages are new, some are old. Even simple elements have tons of variants all over the platform. And the craziest example of this is the Twitter icon in the footer that hasn't been updated since, what, 2010? Before I go on, I'm gonna come up with a clear list of all the elements I'll be using consistently. The most immediate problem with the Steam client is that everything is everywhere, yet everyone seems to struggle with finding the most basic things like redeeming a gift card. On the Steam app itself, there are 6 regions with different options and menus, and many of these options are repetitive. Like friends and chat is here, but it's also here, and it's also here. Are you serious right now? To simplify it, I listed all the options from all 6 regions and then created top-level sections and then sorted all the options between them. And then eliminated the bottom part because why is it even there? On the top part, let's get rid of this extra line and put every main part of Steam in one line. And put the big picture mode and a small mode inside a drop-down so you don't accidentally click on it, because very few people have made it out of there. Before we continue, we should answer this question. What is Steam? Steam is the ultimate destination for playing, discussing, and creating games. Wait, but what about Steam sales? Steam discounts? Steam store? I mean, it's the first thing that loads when you open the app, right? So what's up with this labyrinth you have over here? First, you have this menu with all these options nobody is going to use. The cart and the wish list are right here, yet many people have trouble finding it. We don't need all the clutter. Let's get rid of the drop-down menus. Put some useful menu items in there and make it stick right on the top of the store all the time. But you might ask, what about all these options and categories? Well, why do we need these same categories on the menu, on the sidebar, and in the middle of the store page? The category pages themselves are so many and so scattered around that just keep us circling around ourselves. And you might think, well, it's a marketing trick to keep you hanging out in the store instead of just quickly finding the games you're interested in. And you might also think they have Steam Labs trying brand new features to help you find the games faster. Neat. Why keep on adding and complicating it so much when it could all be reimagined a little simpler? Just have a simple store page for all the latest, a browse page to look for games in different categories, and a discover page. For the store page, I got rid of the clutter first. Then I started from the top with the latest event, like the summer sale. And for the rest, let's keep the game cards empty for now. We'll come back to it later. Next up, keep the featured games, but with a little twist in the carousel. I added a progress bar that fills up and moves to the next item slowly. Next, keep the special offers. Keep browse by category because it guides you to the browse page. Remove discovery queue, keep recommend... What? Why did I remove the discovery queue? Because it's useless, guiding me to the store page of only 12 games and I have to click next every single time? Right, the only reason why I've ever used a discovery queue was to farm those free trading cards during events. And look, they even came up with a new design for it recently. Wow, Steam, that sounded like the perfect design update to allocate your budget to. Anyways, I'll get back to this in a minute. Next, keep the Okay, you know what? To know what to put on the store page, we should answer this simple question. What do we want to see when Steam loads up? For example, free-to-play games, recent updates from games we follow, new and trending games, maybe top sellers just for the sake of marketing, games as cheap as $5, games that are streaming right now, and the new footer with a more approachable design. And that's it. Wait, what? Oh, right. You gotta have the infinite scrolling through recommendations after the footer. Silly me. Well, this is a great feature. Instead of the discovery queue that shows only a few games by loading a new page every time, it just gives me the recommendations while I'm casually scrolling down. I like to make the layout a bit bigger and have the action buttons on the right side like the rest of the platform. And, moving on. Now let's move this perfect infinite recommendation scroller to the Discover page and call it a discovery feed. For the browse page, luckily Steam already has something we can use, the category pages. But these category pages are way too many and way too complicated. You have some offers on the top, a random meaningless set of subcategories, which are all categories by the way, and clicking on them actually just further complicates this browse section down here. Like, did you miss the part where I said I want to see platformer games? Well, turns out Steam is not doing a good job checking user-provided tags either. But we have bigger problems than that. To make a good category page, first we need to make a simple homepage for all these categories, or basically all the Steam games in one place. But this filter sidebar is just bad. Off the top, change narrow by to filter. Remove the extra text, add a reset icon, and move it to the top. Something you notice inside these dropdowns is that the number of existing games is written here. But when you choose a couple of filters and then one category has no results for it, it still shows up there. Makes you press on it and waste your time. Amazing. Why not just not show them so these expanded filters wouldn't just stack up and make another infinite scroll? On the actual game list, let's say you want to add it to the cart. Hover the mouse on it and the game card expands and makes you miss the button. Great, just great thinking. Let's make the card static and change a couple of things. First of all, the wishlist button is only visible when you hover on here, and whether it's added to wishlist or not, the icon is the same. So I changed that with a more descriptive icon. The next big change I'm making is the review section. It's fine, but not truthful enough. What's the difference between very positive and mostly positive? When you say a game has mostly positive reviews among 100,000 reviews, what you really mean is that 70% of users recommended it. But what about 30,000 negative reviews? With this price, that's at least $1.2 million of revenue from people who didn't enjoy the game. You're gonna just ignore those reviews? So these phrases, overwhelmingly positive, mostly positive, very positive, mixed, or whatever, are just dictating what users actually feel. Even Metacritic shows the portions of different ratings. So let's give people the truth in a way that they'll understand the reviews in a glance and just decide for themselves. So I changed that to a simple diagram with a percentage of each review type. Something's not right. Oh yeah, the green. The green should definitely be blue. Phew, that was close. Now let's say there is a discount on a game. It's not clear till when unless you go to the store page. So I would include that on there as well. The last detail is the sorting, which should include all the options for sorting you might possibly need. This new browse page should make browsing a bit less confusing. With these details set, I can go back and lay them out in different cards on the store page. At first, I put a direct add to cart button to all of them because it can make your job easier sometimes. But I felt like there is a reason why Steam and many other stores don't do it. And that reason is actually interesting. According to my in-depth research, if a product has a lot of details that might affect the decision of the buyer, then you'd better not include an add to cart button on the main page. Now let's say I want to check out this game's store page. First off, let's put these 3 buttons up here and make the layout more organized. Then I'll slap a new header on the top. Update the gallery view, the reviews, and every other game info, slightly update the layout on the pricing section, and actually mention what is included in the premium version of a game, list the DLCs, and since they are a huge part of a game, add a link to the full DLC list at the very top next to the other options. And let's be nicer, okay, about this game. Geez, why not about Elden Ring. After this, you have other details like system requirements, which I'll just clean up a little. And you have similar games, and these small game cards don't really do them justice. Let's go back up and fix the sidebar. I'll update these basic sections with the new styles. But here in this part, almost everything is repetitive except the links. So I'll put some useful links there and move the share, embed, and report options up here too. And now the reviews. I don't like how the filters are up here. I'm putting the filters on the side all across the platform. And while most of these filters are good, one important filter is missing. The filter for reviews after every important update or patch. You have a date range on this graph, that's true, but how do you know if the reviews are from before the big fix or after it? No other way than reading them. On the reviews themselves, you have this entire empty space. You could move that to the top and put the date posted right next to it. Down here, put the action buttons next to each other, remove the extra text, and just show the number of people who found it funny or helpful next to the icon. Now let's go back up. I actually like this game. I'm gonna add it to the wish list. Whoa, wait. If I'm on the wish list, then why is there a wish list page link again? Anyway, I figured if you want to browse through your wish list, it's easier to use the same layout from the browse page, except with different filters and sorting options. And what's up with all the text? Remove this, do that. Have you ever heard of icons? Like have a wish list icon that goes red when you hover on it? As in, be careful, you're removing this item? But whatever, let's add this game to the cart and what are these? They're not even related to me. Instead, perhaps you could show me some DLCs of the game, some bundles, some actual related products instead of whatever special offer you're doing this week. Let's update the layout on this side and complete the purchase. And then go to the library. Library is a tricky section. Everybody has certain preferences, and it's clear that many like the new design, with the news and shelves on the right side and the games list on the left side. But if you're like me and you like the previous design more, using this new one, at least for the first time, can be a little confusing. We used to open the library and see a list of our games with the first game on the top, open on the right side, and the play button was immediately accessible. I mean, you come back to Steam and you want to immediately pick up where you left off, you know? In this new design, you kind of have to look for the game on the list, click on it, and then you'll see the play button. I think the best way to design the library is to combine the best of both designs and leave the choice of customization to the user. So in this new library, I'm starting with 3 main tabs: Home, Collections, and News. I've also added the option to activate a product or add a non-Steam game right here. Now when you open this new library, you'll see the first game on the top appear automatically on the right side, just like the old Steam design. Next, I added a search bar for the entire library. Right now on Steam, you can only search in the game list, not among the games in the shelves. Well, why not? Let's add all the filters up here too, so we can only see the games already installed or recent games, or filters like software or tags. But Jux, where is the new design? Well, I hear you. You like shelves and the grid view. So I'm adding view options like the list view, the grid view, and wait for it, a detail view. This view should basically show you the most important information about all the games, with play or install buttons, and other info like how much space each game is using on your device. Now you get all these the same way in a collections tab. You can see your collections listed on the left side, and on the right side you'll either see the first game from the first collection, or a grid view of all the collections, or a detail view. Simple as that. But wait, I'm not done yet. There's something wrong with these game cards in the grid view. This 3D effect has become iconic and all, but beside a bunch of information and some pictures, it has no other use. You have to click on it to get to the play button. Well, we can fix that by making good use of space. Let's just put a play or install button next to the gameplay information and have it appear on hover. I want to update this game. I'll click on update and notice how this progress bar appears up here. I would really appreciate being able to use this download manager as an actual download manager. I might want to download several games at the same time, and I don't want my games to suddenly move up and down between these categories. These sudden movements on the screen can confuse some people. So I tried an alternative look. I'm putting all the downloads in a list, and starting the download, pausing it, or completed downloads won't disrupt the layout. I'll clear the completed items whenever I want, download several games at the same time and see the speed rates. And hey, look, my download is completed. Let's hit the game. Wait, seems like I have a notification. Your friend left a comment on your profile. All right, let's see it. Your profile looks like ha ha ha. What? Okay, I forgot to update the profile design. Well, I don't really have many problems with it. I mean, Steam profiles are kind of unique to each person, and that's the good thing about them. But the default layout can definitely use some changes. Let's put all the action buttons up here and slowly go down the sidebar and make the layouts a bit more organized. On the left side, let's use icons for the gameplay info and achievement, and make the achievement progress bar to, glow up a little. That's it. Now I want to check my screenshots. A new page? Okay. Want to see all my games? Again, a new page? Damn, Steam, you're so generous with pages. I wish you were as generous with discounts. A faster way to see your screenshots, badges, or workshop items is to host them right on the same page. This way, you wouldn't have to go back and forth to see some other aspects of your activity on Steam. It'd all be right here, with the sorting and search bar and everything. When you're done, just click back to profile to see the showcases and recent activity. Simple as. Now I can customize my profile however I want. And to do that, I'll click on Edit Profile, which brings me to this page. My problem with this page is that there's too much text everywhere and no real good use of white space. You could just put every setting next to its input and have a little info icon to show more info if anyone needs it. Plus, checkbox for this, really? Ever heard of a toggle switch? The privacy settings here seems like it could be part of the bigger account settings. That's where most people look for it, privacy and security. Let's go to the settings. It's a pop-up? Okay, and what happens when I click on, let's say, account details? Another page? Steam, why do you have to be so quirky? This could all be just one settings page, with all the possible settings in one place, like a normal platform. Now, for the inputs, we just need different sections, like contact info, and then title, input, and then all the buttons you need next to it. I'll use the same exact logic for the rest of the settings and only put relevant settings in each tab. This is account settings. Security settings or family settings have their own tabs. So here are your settings. What? Wait, I need to get this. Oh, that's my friend. Stop moving things around. I'm in the middle of a game. Yeah, okay. This friends and chat pop-up could use some changes though. Let's put it over here on the top next to the friends and chat icon. And let's move the status drop-down icon next to the actual status, not your name. And let's update the layout down here. Wait. Did my friend buy No Man's Sky? I need to check the activities. Oh great, another page with repetitive options and links everywhere. Sorry, but I'm moving you here in the friends and chat and activity pop-up and making you a simple timeline of events. And now the final boss, the Steam community. Okay, where do we start? I mean, Steam kinda has a history of abandoning things, so who knows how long we have to keep up with the current 10-year-old UI. Okay, let's not panic. Let's go forward with the plan. This is not a store.steampowered.com anymore. This is steamcommunity.com. It's a whole new clusterfuck. But the general map is not as complicated as Steam wants you to think. Every game has a store page and a community page. The community can interact with the game in several ways, like post a screenshot, start a discussion, make workshop items or mods, post reviews or a guide or a video, or just start a broadcast, which is a boomer name for streaming. The biggest problem with them is the old layout and design, and I fixed that by slapping our new design and logic on it. Let's say you want to check out a mod on the workshop. Now it takes you to a new page that looks very similar to a game's store page, and like before, each mod has its own community tabs. I mean, let's give these modders some credit, okay? Hiding them among thousands of other mods on a layout that makes it super hard to browse is not the best way to showcase their work. When you go to the main workshop page, you'll normally see this hideous list of games. Then you have a wall of text for news. We need a big grid of these games and 3 of their most popular workshop items. And let's make it a little more friendly to search or sort the games. The other pages like the Community Hub homepage or discussions could use some of that tidiness. The homepage is too cluttered. Let's guide users to search for a game right when they land on it. Or otherwise, just look at the latest across all communities. On the discussions page, let's turn these 3 tabs into 3 big buttons and have our featured discussions down here. Now, when I click on any of these, I'll see the forums, and if I click on a forum, I'll go to a thread, and that's it. Not too cluttered and not filled with repetitive texts everywhere. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The market. The Steam market is not the most approachable. I know each one of us have our own problems with the market. My main issues are within the main market page. First of all, these listings and orders could each just be a tab. And let's say you have some active sell listings. Have you ever just had these listings stay there for days without a buyer? Well, that could be because your price is too high compared to the current price. But you couldn't know that before going on the listing page. So, to make your job easier, I added an another column to this table to show the current price people are buying this item for. Now, I'm not really happy with the price, and you're telling me I should just remove this listing and go to my inventory and make a new listing? Do you know how much time I've wasted going back and forth to the inventory? There needs to be a simpler solution, like editing for that. This makes everything so much easier. Down here, we have the list of all the current items, and this search function is honestly the worst. I mean, look at this. If you expand the game list, it literally just lists all the games. All of them. I'll move the filters to the left side and add a search bar to search among all the existing items. And after updating the design, I'll add one last touch, which is another column in the table showing the price changes in the past 24 hours. Putting these all together, say hello to a fresh new look of your favorite video game storefront. Explore new games, find games in your favorite genres, prepare your wish list, shop without a single disruption, and get points to decorate your profile. Choose your favorite game and play a match or two with your friends. Looking for your community? Search for your favorite game and see what everyone else is up to. Try it now. So, what do you think about this redesign? Let me know in the comments. And that's all for this video. If you liked it, make sure you do your magic down there, and see you on the next one.
Thanks, Jux.
So you know Figma, but you want to know how to design a website,
Wow.
app, game, or any other product. UI design tools are easy to learn and hard to master. What helps you master them is knowing
She is the best. As you can kind of see, what I was talking about earlier with getting the picture in for where we can get Steam over into places like ElderScrollsOnline.com. That's a great thing, and there's many people that are inputting information, and this is what we love to do. It's an important thing for you guys to understand, like what day it is. Some people don't even know what day it is, and learning what the day is, well, knowing what month it is, that's kind of an important thing. Knowing that it's February of 2024, you might have thought it was the year of 2025. Maybe you thought it was 1985. I don't know. However, what's going on with here in the system is a great thing. As I just learned, I didn't know the actual font in Steam is Motive Sans. That's a great thing. Those of us in Elder Scrolls, what we use in the font is called Papyrus. I've been using Papyrus for years, even before Elder Scrolls was even a word. Oh, like how does that even work? I was using Papyrus before I even knew the word Elder Scrolls. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So knowing the information of what we use is an important thing. Right over here in ElderScrollsOnline.com, you're going to see a little bit of the different font as you see the daily login rewards of February of 2024. Inside of the Elder Scrolls system, the inner system, what's used is Papyrus, and that's an important thing to understand the difference in what fonts are used if you're dealing with specific people. It's a really good thing. What do you use in your electronic typewriter when you're writing in Facebook? Is that the Times? Is that the Times? Are you using Geneva? What fonts are there? There's thousands of fonts out there, and it's totally beautiful. Really, really, really beautiful. And what I think is really beautiful is getting that video out. The person is basically the only person that can get into the UI, in which I don't know. I merely know next to nothing about the UI, but I'm learning more stuff inside, and that's an important thing for you guys to learn on something, and what will help you grow. And in the system today, The system is really struggling, and so please pay in a proper channel to where that's going to help you. You just can't look into something and like, oh, that is so cool, I can learn from this. But what happens when your broadcast is disconnected? Oh no! That's a horrible thing to think about. So you want to make sure that you pay in for your proper channel. And today, in your daily login rewards and what you might quite possibly receive as a reward, you will either be receiving a Gloom Spore crate just by logging in to your account today in Twitch. That's a great thing. You probably forgot about Twitch and you're like, I'm just watching YouTube. I'm going to watch YouTube instead of Twitch. So if you are staying over in Twitch, you better stay in Twitch. And so when you log in, even though you might not see the daily login reward, you are going to get a reward when you log into your game. What is that going to be? Is it going to be a Gloom Spore crate? Or is it going to be an experience scroll? Earlier today, I got ESO running over on Steam. It was merely impossible, and now it's been made possible. That's a great thing. What was received over in Steam was 2 experience scrolls rather than a Gloom Spore crate. When you look into the information here in ElderScrollsOnline.com, not everything's perfect. You gotta understand that, and don't be upset if you're not gonna receive a Gloom Spore crate in your PlayStation game in ESO. So that's a great thing. And what I want those of you in PlayStation, I want you to respond in the chat right now of what reward you guys are receiving over in PlayStation. That gives us good information to where we can piggyback off of what information on who is receiving what, so we can better the system to where one day we can all be receiving the same thing every day. It's an important thing. So over on Steam, most likely you guys will be receiving the experience scrolls, whereas in Xbox you'll be receiving the Gloom Spore crate. It's an awesome thing. Over in ElderScrollsOnline.com, as you might be looking at right now. If you're not, that's okay, because I'm gonna show you guys here what's going on inside of the daily login rewards and what you're going to be receiving. Coming off of here of ElderScrollsOnline.com, you can see the information of from day 2 to day 7, or the seal the deal with Seals of Endeavor. That's some pretty sweet stuff. And so right over here of what's going on with from the 9th of February to the 13th of February, Gloom Spore goods. And that's what was received when I logged in over on Xbox here earlier today. Got a Gloom Spore crate. This is the only thing I see, and most other people see over in their game by logging in. It's a great thing. Of those of us in Elder Scrolls, this is what we see when we plug in our charging device into a power outlet. You ever thought about like renewable energy? These crown crates are renewable energy for us in Elder Scrolls. I take this serious. Hopefully you do too. It's a great thing. Thinking about that crown crate. Some kids want to have a crown crate bowl to eat cereal. Awesome thing. Awesome thing. I want my crown crate bowl. Eating cornflakes. Or maybe eating my Cheerios. Have you ever thought about that with the crown crates? It's a renewable energy source for us in Elder Scrolls. When you plug your charging device into the power outlet, you see that almost maybe a white coloring when you plug your charging device into the outlet. Well, you can think of the gloom spore goods as the path of what you're seeing of how what's the renewable energy source for Elder Scrolls. Awesome thing. Awesome. Use the gloom spore. Okay, well, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a quick break. Hopefully, you're having a good drive today, and I will be right back. Oh yeah. Oh yes. I was here yesterday, last night. Was playing the new four-player part of part of the DLC, and it was sweet. It really was. Went in there. I was over in I think it was South High Rock Gate, and I was asking some other players, "Hey, you want to go over and help me over in Imperial City?" Like, yeah, sure. And so we went over there, and this is how fun the game is in Sky Oblivion. When you guys start to play the game, you'll be able to get connected to players from around the world. You might not know where the player lives exactly in the actual world, but in Tamriel, we're all connected, and it's an important thing to get connected in your game. That's an awesome thing. Whether you're getting connected in Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam, the game is so much fun. Last night, going in there, I had no idea what was going to go on inside of the game. Got inside into Imperial City, inside of the White Gold Tower. It was awesome. It was an absolute awesome battle. There was a total of four of us that was in there. It was awesome. One player went in with me into the White Gold Tower dungeon, and then what they had done is the this is how we can switch the game to where we can let others lead the way, lead the path to getting the scroll. And so the third DLC was just completed here last night. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. What was happening? We were standing still after we had defeated some of the opponents. All of us players had got killed in during in game, but we stayed alive because we had a connection with each other. You see what I'm saying? All of us had gotten killed, but we didn't get killed because we were all connected to each other. That's an important thing to understand when you're going through those tough battles. You have to go through it with other players. Inside of Steam, it's an awesome place also to get involved in what's called MMO. Steam is a great place. Steam has been said by a couple of players to where Elder Scrolls is an MMO, and getting involved over in Steam, getting the chatting working, that's a great way to get started, by getting involved in the real life MMO of Elder Scrolls, and then going over into playing the game with other players. That's what it's all about, rather than just playing by yourself. If you're just playing by yourself, that gets kind of boring. If you're just playing by yourself, you go in there every night. I'm gonna go and defeat these enemy characters all by myself. Well, you're gonna get killed a lot in the game if you're just playing an RPG. And it sucks when you keep on going to a different place, and you just keep on getting destroyed by the same enemy characters. When you go over into the White Gold Tower dungeon, right now I went over there earlier today, and going into the same place, what we have to have is we have to have an MMO go in there to where we can defeat the game again and again and again. It's a beautiful part about the game. The enemy characters have respawned already, and what I'm explaining to you guys that are looking to go into the Imperial City DLC, you're going to want to make sure you're in the game with other players as well. You're not going to be able to complete the DLC without other players. And that's why it's an MMO. This is an important thing for you guys to understand, to use the Gloom Spore. That's going to help you get through the game along with the other players. And every player has the Gloom Spore in them somewhat. It's a sweet thing. Being able to chat with the other players in the game. And in here, as you're watching this broadcast, what I want you guys to do, this is real life Elder Scrolls, to where once you actually discuss in the chat boards and in the discussions, you're becoming part of Elder Scrolls. That's an important thing for you guys to be able to chat, to where that gets your devices running better. If you can't chat in your device, your device is gonna deteriorate and your device will become useless. So what I'm explaining is you want to make sure that you're chatting inside of your device, whether it's a cell phone or whether it's a laptop or whether it's a Macintosh or whether it's on Steam or on an Xbox or a PlayStation. That's an important thing for you guys to understand, to where you can chat in the game, because once you're able to chat inside of the game, you're able to communicate to a larger network. That's an important thing. Starting out with the discussion boards, that's where it all starts. And so getting involved in the chat line right now is a great thing for you guys to get involved with Elder Scrolls and get into another site that you might be very interested in. A site that you might not understand, but you have a friend to go in with you that does understand the site a little bit better. Going over here from elderscrollsonline.com and learning about the different things of Elder Scrolls. Not everyone knows everything, and it takes a larger part of everyone in order for the game to be processed and enjoy the game. It's an awesome thing. And so hopefully you guys are going to be getting involved in the third DLC a little bit more. Awesome thing. You can play it as an RPG, an MMO, a PvE, or a PvP. That's a great thing to be able to play. I'm not going to suggest you guys go in like all the time as a PvE or a PvP player. Well, the PvP side of Elder Scrolls is an awesome thing, to where you can actually duel each other. I always get my butt kicked when I do a PvP. I couldn't even do a PvE. The PvE is a player versus everyone. I just get my butt kicked anyways on both sides of a like either a PvE or a PvP. I'd rather just go in on the MMO side and be connected to everyone. I I would rather do the MMO to get through the game, as much as the game is being developed in Imperial City. There's a lot of things to do in Imperial City, a lot more things to do that we can produce for the game to get the game growing. And one of those places for you guys to get involved is over in IGN. That will be a great thing for you guys to discuss in the discussion board over there. The first post that was posted over in IGN for the Imperial City post was over in the year of 2015. Now, there's only one post in there. There's nobody else communicating about the game, but there's a lot of players that are playing the game. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So, what I want you guys to do is I want you to discuss in the discussion chat lines right now. Get over to IGN and discuss in the board, because that will show us a connection. You see what I'm saying? We're not connected fully in Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam, and that's the important part, showing that we are connected. That will, in the future, get us further connected in the system. And with that, that's a great way to getting involved in Elder Scrolls. Hopefully you're enjoying your drive. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a quick break. Hopefully you're enjoying your drive. Just got back here. Have you used the clean store yet? I have. It's over here at ElderScrollsOnline.com. We're going to get into the live discussion. Let's get into it right now. Let's see what's being discussed right now in the live discussion. And we're going to go into the lore discussion. What is going on in here in the discussion of Telvanni lore? Welcome all to the first Lore Masters Archive of 2023. This time, we're exploring all things Telvanni during the Second Era. Do you have a question related to the Telvanni involvement in the upcoming Scribes of Fate DLC? Or maybe you have an evergreen Telvanni question to get off your chest. This is the place to ask. To help our lore master answer as many questions as possible, please keep your questions short, no more than a line or two, and limit yourselves to one question apiece. Don't worry, we'll be going big with future Lore Masters archives, and you'll absolutely have a chance to interrogate an Arcanist about the new class as we get closer to Necrom's launch in June. With that in mind, we'll keep this thread open for 1 week. Closing February 15th, 2023 at 10 a.m. ET/3 p.m. UTC for everyone to get your questions in starting today. We await your Telvanni questions. There's a bit of confusion over what encompasses the Telvanni Peninsula. I want to see that sharp. If we look at a map, it looks like more like the Telvanni coast. Is it safe to say that we are exploring the lesser part of the Telvanni Peninsula with the releases this year? And there is a greater part for a future chapter? What do you do the Telvanni think of the other races in Tamriel? Do they accept them in their ranks to go up the chain in their house, or are they completely barred from ever becoming one of them? The Telvanni are known for their talented mages, and perhaps most powerful among them is Devaith for who is compared to the likes of Shalador and Venus Galarian. Do you know of any figures from my Breton race that I can look up to that measure, up to their power and or accomplishments? Perhaps even with Great House Telvanni. In regards to Telvanni lords, why is there quite a few Telvanni using the Magister title? As the Telvanni title of Magister is when you announce you deserve to the Archmagister over the current one. And there's quite a few Telvanni being called Magister, like the current Archmagister Nelos Otheri, Dratha, Tharana, Gothrin, and Shalrini Barrow in the Telvanni Peninsula. Gaia Sola would work as a name if you can't say my Warcraft-inspired name like Gaius Sola, battle mage of the 13th Legion. As for Shalrini Barrow, to claim the ranks any further, she'd need to murder Archmagister Elos Athari. Sources: I can grant you the rank of master now. That will give you an equal place on the Telvanni Council. But if you aspire to a higher claim, I can also grant you the title of Magister. By accepting the title of Magister, you are announcing that you deserve the title of Archmagister more than Gatrin, who currently holds that rank. Which will it be? Okay, two Telvanni walk in a corner club. Are they allowed to stay, or do they get kicked out? With Necrom being one of the holiest cities in Morrowind, along with Mournhold and Vivek City, where is the where is the presence of Indoril said to closely be tied to the temple and therefore Necrom? Has the land around Necrom always been Telvanni, or has it passed hands over the centuries? Historically, House Telvanni has been isolated from the other great houses and generally removed from the affairs of the rest of the Dunmeri civilization. In the Elder Scrolls III, the Great House was viewed negatively by all other factions in the game, foreign and native alike. In the time period of the Elder Scrolls Online, House Telvanni stands as the only great house that has rejected membership in the Ebonheart Pact, further alienating themselves from the rest of Morrowind. Even within House Telvanni, affairs are clannish, fragmented, and internally hostile. With these drawbacks in mind, how extensive is House Telvanni's territory in Morrowind? It has been thought until recently that the house only held sway over the extreme northeast of Morrowind and the islands of Azura's Coast and Vardenfell. With the new Telvanni Peninsula zone, however, it seems that the house's territory is 3 times larger than previously thought, easily making them the great house with the most vast stretches of territory in all of Morrowind. However, it would seem unlikely that this is the case for politically uninfluential house, universally despised and self-isolated and internally unstable. Does Telvanni territory truly run from Necrom to the northeastern extremities? Is a third of Morrowind truly under Telvanni control? If so, why? How did this profane, impious, unorthodox, unstable, isolated, and hostile great house manage to acquire so much land while the more powerful and influential houses were left with less? What kinds of lycanthropy are native to the Telvanni region? I've spotted a Telvanni NPC working in the Orsinium Mages Guild. Would she be an outcast from the house due to her affiliation with the guild? Is it at all possible to be a member of both? I can only guess it wouldn't help one's reputation to do so, but does power not confer right in the end? There are a series of tomes mentioned to be in the vaults of the city of Necrom called the Indigo Scrolls. Is there anything you can share on the knowledge contained within these tomes? Second unrelated question I have is related to the imprisonment of Hamandoril, currently imprisoned for arson in Necrom. Can you please elaborate on what the changes are for this member of the Painted Eyes? Please tell me he didn't burn any important knowledge. It is something of an open secret that there are a great number of downright radical members of House Telvanni who spurn the tribunal. How does the House keep themselves from the ire of the ordinators? Since the Demavanis are a branch of House Telvanni, I have to know. Is Aunt Cernesi ever going to get her purple urn? I would really like to give her one so she can give Revis a break. Yeah, greetings. Admittedly, my knowledge of Ald Chimeri's is sorely lacking. What is the etymology of the name Telvanni? Sincerely, CE next. First of all, the way I laughed at this, also I pray we get an answer to this one. Where is Nelhoth? Is he safe? Is he alright? I heard of mushroom towers of Port Telvanni's. They're a really impressive display of nature magic. How do the practices of your Mysoturges differ from the practices of groups such as Wardens, Bosmeri, Green Speakers, Reach Folk, Verd Covens, and Druids? Druid Tirosh, have the Telvanni mages solved the mystery of why treasure maps don't stack in our packs? Throughout the years, citizens of Morrowind have seen the Telvanni make deals with Daedric princes and lesser Daedra, like for one reason or another. But what of the non-Prince Daedra lords, like Lord Hollowjack or Menthis? Are the Telvanni willing to make deals with such enigmatic beings? Sincerely, Monrave Daron. House Inderol controls the cities of Firewatch. Helnium Wall, Green Heights, and Jerloris, or Dragon Glade, as the Imperials like to call it. Along the eastern coast and inner sea north of Necrom, I have heard of a place called Tel Joloth near Olivelis, or Amber Forest, in the territory of House Dress. How do these houses that are so dedicated to the temple deal with the Telvanni having such a great influence in the area around Necrom? Could they one day encroach their holdings to control the area around the city of the dead? House Telvanni holdings are known to extend to the isles north of the peninsula. What is known about those islands and the settlement of Port Telvanni's? Are the smaller islands settled? Sincerely, Grillar Maloran. Honor to your house, Sarah. A week ago, I met a mage of your house from Sidrith Mora, who rode one of the strangest beasts I've ever seen. It looked like a horse. Those mammals from the west, but it was made from spores and fungi. And as much as that is puzzling itself, I'm curious why one would shape it after the instead of something belonging to our own great fauna, such as Gwar, Nix ox, or a silt hopper. Better than never allows. What is the average lifespan of an ordinary gunner? And what about other Mer? I'm eager to know. Sincerely, Levitsa Tavalwa, Has House Telvanni always controlled the area surrounding Necrom, or has that land changed hands multiple times throughout history? I get the impression the political map of Morrowind is always shifting, with the different Dunmer houses enforcing ancestral claims, purchasing or inheriting land, and finding many ways to manipulate their way to the top. What's the history of this so-called Telvanni Peninsula in that regard? Ash of Singing Flame historian? Despite most Dunmas grim, angry, and frankly rude demeanors, they've reputation of being rather playfully flirtatious and in joy in the sheets. Is there any truth to these thoughts of the mama? And if so, does it extend to the Telvanni? Share the house as unique and power-loving as them has made up interesting ways to play with magic. Very much so looking forward to her response. Shadow Mage and Undaunted. Alexis Z. Ashburn. Dearest Lore Master, our local scenarists in the Morrowind Northeast have made disturbing reports of the necromantic Slode making feudal alliances with great Telvanni. In their lands, they say, lies the terrible skyport of Subo Lathia, where Thracian airships called Slode floaters seemingly make trade in corpses. It is utmost importance to our Monster Watch grid network that its exact location and purpose be identified. Please reply soonest with your findings. Prescient, thanks. Sonoros Guild, Citadel. I noticed that the Telvanni sorcerers are often surrounded themselves with foreign talented craftsmen and fearsome bodyguards. How can an outlander like me be recruited by a Telvanni wizard? I know that Dunmer inter their remains in ancestral family tombs or in a city of the dead like Necrom. Where can they later be summoned to communicate with their descendants? But do non-Dunmer people who say got married into a Dunmer house be also afforded these privileges and also communicate with their descendants even though they are not Dunmer themselves? Hypothetical question. Of course, not like I intend to get married. Yeah. Thanks, Vanessa Gibby. Will we get to kill any more Telvanni slave owners this coming chapter? That would be poggers. I really enjoyed killing Slave Master Aranim in the Sidrith Mora questline. Magister, my dealings with the Telvanni to date have largely been relegated to Sidrith Mora and other minor holdings in Vardenfell. Is Necrom the largest Telvanni city in the mainland, or are there other dark elven capitals of note that remain outside the Aventart Pact? Honor to your house. Lego Les, Tiger Doyen of the United Explorers of Scholarly Pursuits. I've heard rumors of a personal form of teleportation magic among members of House Delphani, known as Mark and Recall. Pray tell, how widespread is this technique inside the Great House? Unalia Aleandris. How sweet, how sweet. I'm hoping you've had a great drive. I will be back here later on. Hopefully you guys are going to check out the game here later on tonight, coming up here 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as always. So make sure you get your ticket and to where you can get into the game, to where you can watch the game later on tonight here as we start covering a little bit more hints of the Telvanni. Where are the Telvanni in the third DLC of Imperial City? Do you know where the Telvanni are? I don't. However, there's hints of the Telvanni. Now, when we're talking about the alliance war, whether it's Daggerfall Covenant, Aldermary Dominion, or Ebonheart Pact, you can kind of tell that the Telvanni have not been taking care of the Ebonheart Pact. You can kind of tell where in the game how the Telvanni have not been taking care of the plants. Really. Well, until then, use the Gloam Spore.